this is what feels like happens to me. I will have an inspiration. I'll have an idea that just comes to me, and I will be enthusiastic about it, and I'll be really hopeful about it, and I will carry out the steps that I feel come forth through me from that inspiration. But then the outcome never seems to be what I had hoped for.
Well then, but here's the distinction. Here's what's going on. Hope isn't in the vortex. Hope's on the verge of the vortex. So if you're acting from the vibration of hope, you're taking action too soon. You want to hope until the vortex takes you in and makes a believer out of you. And once the vortex takes you in and makes a believer out of you, if you hang around longer, then you'll know. And once you're in the place of knowing, what you want cannot be denied. So you thanked us for our patience because you want some. And we said to you, we don't need patience when we're in the vortex, and you won't either, but you are impatiently jumping into action before your alignment is really secure. That's all. Don't you like knowing that?
I do. It just feels like such a vicious cycle for me sometimes. I have backed off.
But hear what you're saying. This is exactly the way this conversation went. Abraham, I've been doing this and this. Well, that's pretty good, but that won't get you where you want to be. I know. It hasn't been getting me where I want to be, and I don't like it, and it keeps happening over and over again. Let me tell you about it. And we're saying, don't do that anymore. Don't do that. Don't take action until you feel not just a hopeful feeling. Don't take action until nothing could keep you from it. Don't take action until the momentum is so strong that there is nothing that could keep you from it. Esther loves to go to Estes Park, Jerry and Esther, and there's a slide that they take the grandchildren to. And it's a long hike up this slide, but then a very fast but exhilarating ride down. And Kate was really little. She was about 3 years old, and she watched the other kids on the slide and really wanted to do it. But when she got up there and saw the way it looked from the top, she wasn't so sure that she'd made the right decision. And Esther knew that if she could just nudge her just a little bit and let gravity begin taking her down, that in a moment that she would like it, but more important, she wouldn't be able to change her mind. In other words, once that vortex takes you, the momentum is so strong that it's not a conversation about should I do this or should I do that or should I go there or are you the right one or is this what I'm really reaching for? The momentum is so strong. There's no. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience? Have any of you ever had an out-of-body experience? You know that feeling? You know that feeling when you're going? You're going. In other words, you're going and you want to. You're going and you want to. Even if you have a little interesting trepidation about where you might be going, still the momentum is such that you're going. That's what it feels like. It's such a sure feeling. And if you haven't had that sure feeling, then you're taking action before you've got all your vibrational ducks in a row.
It feels like sure feeling. I get inspired.
Well, that's not the word that you used earlier. You used the word hope.
Well, I get the inspiration, and then I get all excited about it, and then that brings the hope of what's going to transpire because of that, in what I thought was inspired action.
Well, words are tricky, but feel how hope has a little lacing of doubt. Hope feels like I want it, but there's a little lacing of doubt in hope. It's not a pure vibration. It's close enough to bring you to evidence that makes you believe more, but really all that's happening is you are so eager to get going in the direction of what you want that you're taking action before your vibration is pure, and then you have to work. See, here's how it works. Let's say, we'll just use an example, that you're looking for a relationship. And as you're looking for a relationship, let's say that you know what you want and you know what you haven't got, or you know what you want or you know what you've had before. So your vibration about relationship is not about what's in the vortex, it's about where you've been. So you hold that vibration and you want it to be different, but that's what the vibration is. It's sort of a mixed bag of what you want and what you don't want, what you're reaching for, what you've already have. And so if you take action from that cluttered vibration, the person that comes is going to have some of what you want and some of what you don't want. The person that comes is going to be sort of good and sort of not good. And it's going to be like that every person that comes until you do something about making the vibration pure before you take action. A woman said to us one day, Abraham, my son so wants a relationship. Can you help him find one soon? Will he find one soon? And we said, hopefully not. And she was shocked. Why would you not want him to find a relationship when he wants one so much? And we said, because his vibration about a relationship is not like the relationship he's really seeking. His vibration about a relationship is about neediness, and it's about not enoughness. It's about infidelity. He has all these things going on in his vibration. So, and mostly about not feeling good about himself. So if he tracks a partner from where he is now, she'll be just like he is, and neither one of them will have a good time, and then they'll just break apart. And his mother said, that's exactly what's been going on. We said, it's so much better to form your partnership with the vibration of your vortex and take satisfaction from that alignment, and then let the action be inspired from that position. And so what we're simply saying is, if you take the time to make sure your vibration is pure, we did that with our friend relative to the lottery earlier. If you take the time to get your vibration lined up, then when you're inspired to go somewhere, when you're inspired to act, it will pay off. You'll rendezvous with what you've been looking for. Make sense?
It makes sense, but this is relative to my business.
Yes.
So I realized that I was trying too hard and I was taking action from the wrong place. Yes. So what I did is I withdrew my focus from that, and I've been doing only those things that I feel passionate about in my business. I do the creating part, which I've always loved. And I've completely taken my focus off of getting clients and marketing and doing all those things that feel really hard to me right now. And I get very disappointed and frustrated and, all those things. So I've removed my focus from that, thinking that's the best thing to do right now. I'm just going to do what feels good, what feels fun. And then all of a sudden I'll get this idea. I'm going to do a teleseminar, because I enjoy doing, whatever. And I'll take all the steps necessary, the learning and everything to put this teleseminar together. And I'll deliver the teleseminar. And nothing happens. I don't get the outcome that I felt with that this inspiration was going to take me.
Well, our answer is still the same. Because you took the action thinking that the action would lead to a result that would make you feel good.
Right.
And it's going about it in a backwards way. What you want to do is find the thought that takes you into the vortex that makes you feel good without the action. You're saying the right words. You're saying, you said, I don't want to promote my business. You said, this is exactly what you said. I don't want to promote my business. I don't want to make it happen. But then an idea of how to make it happen came to me.
Right.
And I did the idea of how to make it happen, even though I'd already said I didn't want to make it happen, and it didn't happen. And we say, well, which part of law of attraction don't you understand? In other words, law of attraction gave you, in other words, here's another way of looking at it. We're just going to play with some ideas here on lots of different subjects. So just relax and it will click into place for you. So let's say that you want more money. But let's say you believe that in order to have more money, you have to work more hours. And let's say you don't want to work more hours. So now you're in an impossible situation because you believe you have to work more, but you also know you don't want to work more. So now you've got a contradiction in your vibration that it just won't break loose for you. So you don't have to work more hours. You just have to deactivate that part of the equation. You just have to want more money and leave the I don't want to do this in order to get the more money out of it. It has to be deactivated. And that's why when you take action, or your words were really good, trying too hard. When you're trying to figure it out, rather than letting the vortex bring the cooperative components together and show it to you, you get yourself sort of vibrationally strung out. It's like so here's what happened. So you're outside the vortex, you want more clients. You know you don't have enough clients or enough money. So you want more clients and you want more money and you want more success and you want more fun and you want more information flowing through you. There are a lot of things you want, not just money. You want the feeling of upliftment. You want the feeling of being uplifted. You want the feeling of being an uplifter. You are a teacher to the very core of your being. And so all of that you've put over here into your vortex. So then you get the idea, well, I will take this action in order to bring that about. And when you introduce that action, instead of it feeling better, it feels worse because there's some sort of contradiction going on in your vibration. So then you say, but I don't know what to do. If I do nothing, that doesn't feel right. And if I do something, that doesn't feel right. What should I do? And we say, when it feels wrong either way, just hold tight and say to yourself, this isn't the time for an action journey. This is the time for an emotional journey. Now, that's what you think you've been doing. You said, I thought that I was doing that because then I'd get the inspiration. And so our encouragement to you is sit with the inspiration just a little while longer. Don't jump into action the moment that the idea comes. Play it out in your mind a little bit. Imagine it a little longer. Try to get in the vortex relative to other subjects and then milk it a little longer. So here's the way we would do it. We'd get into the vortex on one of those subjects that you say there are so many things going well in your life. So we'd get into the vortex. And then we'd milk being there. We'd talk about how good life is relative to
any of the other parts of my life.
How good life is relative to
the love of my children,
relative
the love
to
of my best friend, the relationship that I'm in, my cats.
So we would focus there in that vibration of appreciation, and then we would acknowledge how good we're feeling and where we're going, and then we would introduce to the vortex right here and now the idea of your business. And when you introduce the business, it might just feel just fine. In other words, you might have got enough in the vortex momentum going that when you think about your business, you're still feeling appreciation about your business or eagerness about what's coming with your business. So now you've got the business activated and it's sort of iffy in that vibration. And so now the vortex spits you out. So now you have a new intention. You want to be in the vortex and you want to be in the vortex thinking about your business. And so you don't try to climb right back in because the vortex just spit you out and that's not the best time to in a determined way get right back in. So you just let life unfold and you focus upon the other things that feel good, and you think about your children and you think about your cat and you think about your relationship and you think about your friends and you think about life in general and you think about how well things are going and you think about your knowledge about law of attraction and you think about how you like being a deliberate creator and you think about how you like the idea of being the creator of your own reality and how you love it that life keeps on expanding and giving you new things to want, and you think about your business and what an expanding thing it is, and the vortex spits you out. So now you don't try to climb right back in because this isn't a contest about wrestling your business to the ground. You just wait for another opportunity to be in the vortex. But now, you see, this is something that most of you don't realize that has been happening. During this vortex spitting out experience that you've been having, you've been developing a stronger desire to be in the vortex relative to your business. You following? In other words, that business and that business in the vortex and that vortex talking about the business is a stronger vibration within you than it has been before, because you have never before been as determined to be in the vortex and focusing on a specific subject as you now are. And so now there's a stronger calling. Now your inner being is in there calling you into the vortex, wanting to talk to you about your business in a way that has never been happened before. It has never happened before.